Is golf too expensive? Hey, don't answer that. But I'm your good friend Lukie, and I'm returning and trying to find some of California's hidden gems, especially in Northern California. I've loaded up my car, I've got myself a trusty tripod, and I've got my golf clubs. Let's explore this great state and see what we can find. The road doesn't have the answers, but sometimes it can lead to where you want to go. That's the point of taking a road. I learned that from a movie called Two-Lane Blacktop. I've been gone for a while. Who knows how long I'll come back for. But for now, I'm here to give you some average golf at some above average or slept on golf courses. First on the docket, Kings Beach, California. Old Brockway. I've always driven by this course, never entered. Can't wait to get to know it. So the first tee is not for the faint of heart. There is a restaurant to your left, and there is basically a road that is very popular to your right. There's houses down the left, and your boy hit a cut. That was the swing I'm trying to implement now, and that was Tempo Town, and I felt so frigging cool. These fairways are narrow, might I add. So, 100-yard shot, give or take in. One thing that I learned from doing golf vlogging is my alignment is terrible. And I thought I pushed this. I actually just hit this exactly to where I was aimed. Probably a smart shot, though, because as you look, any slight miss is basically trouble here. There's two bunkers I didn't display. Old school Lukie would have shown that. They're just two bunkers. You've got to hit it high or stay right to get on the green. These greens are very fast. They can turn and be slippery if you get on the wrong side of them. I was told stay below the hole. It's always nice to start with a par, and you can kind of see the clubhouse in the background. It's just pure mountain golf. It's everything that you want from that type of experience. Number two, it's asking the opposite. So the first hole felt like a cut to me. This has the road on the right. I tried to pull one. I'm pretty proud of myself in my golf game that I think I can move the ball right and left. I don't do it traditionally, but I can do it. Never a great sign when you see these signs on the course. It basically means don't hit a ball where you're worried about hitting it because you're going to have to pay money, which is our least favorite thing. Missed that out into the shrubs, and I was pretty pumped on this. Just shaped a shot. I've actually gotten really good at hitting out of that stuff. I'm not going to tell you why. You guys can guess. Working on my camera angles too. Very slopey greens. This was just a devilish pin, and I'm going to show after I play the hole just how hard it is. I missed my spot by about a foot, and I got absolutely roasted. So it ran out just that far. If it's on the left, I advise anyone to miss to the right. Stay below the hole. Two putted for bogey. I didn't really understand at the time how good of a score that is on this hole. And for me, that feels like an extremely good score in hindsight because that putt I didn't hit, but I noticed it was very fast. So I stand up here like, you know, a guy's holding up a pace of play. This probably doesn't look like it's moving that fast, but I just basically just dropped that ball and it ran. So I was trying to illustrate even further how much further this ball will go if you just kind of drop it on the green. You could realistically have my putt and have a 15-footer coming back up the hill. So if you're watching this to kind of get an idea, number 2 green, be tentative. Hole 3 is their signature hole. You hit down a hill. That's a big shot for a lot of people. I'm very privileged. I've seen a lot of great golf. I've brought in this new club, a 5-iron hybrid Cleveland launcher. And it says also, you got the sign, don't come on here if you're not playing. That is the view that you hit down to. They have these cool coffin greens, but I've started using a 5-iron Cleveland hybrid that I got from Goodwill, and it's actually helping me have confidence with that. So I've brought that in. So that's going to be for these new videos. You might see the Cleveland 5-iron hybrid. Let me know if you guys play one of those. Let me know what you think about that. That would be really cool to know. Missed out. I kind of toe hooked one from up there with the 5-iron hybrid. Got a really good lie. Basically got lucky because I had like no warm up. So I just kind of like got lucky, kind of caught one hot and went up there. Fourth hole, Par 5, I absolutely smoked this. There was like a ton of grounds crew in the fairway and my mind couldn't be silent. 8-iron into a par 5 does not happen all that often for me. And you can kind of see I absolutely tugged that one the wrong way. It's very gettable. Everything runs right to left on this hole. I tried to make an artistic shot. I mean, I absolutely pulled that about as much as I could. And then it's not a bad approach. I'm sure there's tons of people watching that would say, okay, that was a great little shot. But it just kind of stinks when you give yourself an 8-iron into a par 5 and then you have 2 shots where you have to play defense. I had to play defense with that approach because it was right at the back edge. And then that putt, I did not trust getting aggressive with. I thought I might have made it, but it just kind of slipped away. So really good course when you start to have all these different elements of trickery in there. Forced a layup. So this hole forces a layup from the back tees. I'm playing from the blues, and it's a very narrow high school hallway you're hitting between. Looking back, that is the creek you're hitting over. So from the white tees, it's 205 yards, and I'm giving you this perspective so you can see that tree, which that tree actually plays a major factor in the hole. So the 2 factors are you want to lay up you want to either hit over the creek, which from my tee box is like 270, I think. And then there's a tree to the right of the green, but it almost feels like it's in front of the green. And in hindsight, I didn't even have to play it there. My alignment was bad. I felt like I was aimed at the hill, but I was trying to cut one in, ended up hitting the tree. I wish the tree was the pin because I would have done that. It's like my mind, let me know if you've played this course because it felt like my mind was fixated on where that tree was. Hit that chip really well. It came out a little hot, but it was a very back pin up a slope. I didn't want to leave myself a downhill putt, but at the same time, I also didn't want to give myself like a 30-footer going up the hill. So I actually felt like that was going to be a good chip, but these greens can really run out on you. And then once you get above the hole, it's just kind of anyone's guess what's going to happen. This is a par 5 where I'm going to stop it and kind of go on a rant after I hit this really bad shot, 5-iron hybrid. The par 3s seem ridiculously hard, at least from the blue tees. You're hitting a lot of mid-irons and a lot of uncomfortable shots. Personally, I would have liked it if one of the holes was about a 9-iron pitching wedge and the other was a mid-iron. Having 2 holes that play with essentially the same club is a little tough, right? Because I think that what we don't want as golfers is to hit the same shots over and over. My one criticism is the par 3s are just really long and grueling, and it requires accuracy from the back tee. So that's something, and I'm sure if you're a white tee player, you probably feel a very similar way. It's probably a yardage that's a little uncomfortable for you as well. But I didn't love the par 3s here. And I know that the signature hole is a par 3, the third hole. But the 6th hole is the same as basically that hole, but you're hitting up a hill. I blocked out my shot, or somebody in the comments can explain the bad shot that I hit, but it wasn't a very good 5-iron hybrid. Once again, defensive flop shot type shot, and then I just kind of played for bogey, which isn't great. This is the hole for everybody that's obsessed with distance. It's a 555-yard par 5, a lot of 5s. Crushed that. I was kind of scared that it went too far. Pulling driver, which I've never done in my life, but whatever. And there's a creek that runs I'd say about maybe 70, 80 yards in front. So it's almost like a double dog leg. And then you have this blind area that leads into an uphill. I absolutely thinned the heck out of that 8-iron. I got very, very lucky. And it left me 100 yards in with some form of a wedge. Decent enough lie. And I didn't really hit this all that well. But this hole didn't feel as much about distance as somebody could probably say, oh, well, because you hit at a certain level. It's more about position. And I feel like that's the theme of this course, especially maybe for the quote-unquote good player, is, yes, it's accessible for a novice or a beginner, but it's very, very tricky when you get out of position. You can't really make birdies or you can't make easy scores. Not that I ever really do that. Hole 8 is a gettable par 4. It's very straightforward. It's just hit a straight shot. I thought this was going to cut. That's the Lukie Arts angle. Also, a lot of foot kicks. I don't think in previous golf vlogs I was as much of a foot kicker. I'm now a big foot kicker. And then look at this. I missed a shot. I actually hit, it was basically the same shot I hit on the last hole. This is the perspective, narrow width of the fairway, and they have these coffin-like bunkers. I hit it hole I with a 58. It was basically the same shot from the last one. Only difference, ka-ching, make a birdie. Now I'm at +2, super score guy now. And then the final hole at this course, to the right is a creek, to the left are houses. There's also a driving range to your right. So if you hit a big fat slice, you could definitely be in a driving range trying to find your golf ball or just sad. I actually hit that about as good as I can hit a driver. If that's not very far to you, please just don't comment because that felt super good. Left me a pitching wedge in, and I thought I hit this like to 2 feet. This looked so good to me, and it's always, it feels like you can never make these putts when you visualize it being so close. I had about 10 to 15 feet. I thought it went in, and then it breaks back at the hole. So if at the back it breaks. And then I actually gave myself a tester here, and this was kind of bold of me just to stand over it. But I'm like, okay, this is long enough. I can make this. And I just finish it off real quick. There we go. So that leads to this. Why Kings Beach? Why start at Old Brockway? And I answer annoyingly, why not? It's a great intersection of historic golf with just golf that regular people play. And isn't that the point of this channel? People who are informed consumers that want an annoying tidbit to tell about a course, or just to simply say, hey, that place looks nice. At $65, it meets that threshold of potentially thinking about, should I or shouldn't I? Now, obviously, most people going here are going to vacation in Kings Beach, or are going to vacation or have a home in the Lake Tahoe area. It's probably not going to be a destination golf course, but I would argue that it's one of those golf courses that builds memories over time. It could even build more special memories than maybe more significant courses that have held major championships. It's an interesting course because it's accessible to beginner golfers. It's accessible to men and women, which I think is nice. I saw tons of women playing on the course, and I think that that's something that gets overlooked. I think I'd take 5 to 7 golf balls for this golf course. It's easy to lose golf balls if you spray it. Holes 1, 2, and 9 have a road running by, so if you're nervous of that, that could mentally and psychologically play into your head. The fairways aren't that big, but there's not really obstacles in the fairways. So the challenge is just keeping the ball straight. When you get closer to the greens are somewhat like postage stamps. The strength of the course to me is obviously the setting, and I think that it has a great opening and closing hole, as well as some sneaky, strong par 5s. I think the par 5s are going to really stand out and be very, very memorable. The signature hole, the third hole, is extremely pretty, and it has an elevation change, and I think everyone just likes holes that offer something that's a little outside of the norm. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up button, and I'm going to try to make a series out of this and visit remote golf courses this year. Let me know if I'm doing a good job coming back to vlogging. I would like any criticism or any of that stuff. It's Lukie, and I'm back for now.